President Trump opens up a rift with red rural Colorado with a plan to undercut this state's #1 ag product with imports.
We're already in agriculture operating in a tough environment and uncertain environment.
The federal government says Colorado can't import more Canadian wolves. They got to be made in the USA. Small food banks worry that Colorado's plan to feed families during the government shutdown will shut them out just as they're swamped with need. And our Friday search for the good news in the lives of our neighbors brought childlike joy to one of our own.
My good news is that Kyle let me come to the airport to see the big plane one last time today. Thanks, Kyle.
Don't mention it, Mark. This is next. We have a meaty topic to start off with tonight. The president wants to import more beef from Argentina to prop up his friend who runs that country and to bring down the price of meat at grocery stores in America. You know who doesn't love this idea? Ranchers who produce Colorado's #1 ag product by a mile, cattle and calves. Our Mark Salinger explains their beef.
Because of the comments from the president, we've seen the price for those cattle drop anywhere from $50 to $100 a head just since last Friday.
On Colorado's southeastern plains, Curtis Russell feels the impact of comments made in Washington.
It will be an immediate impact to their bottom line if they sell before the market corrects back.
Curtis is a rancher and president of the Colorado Cattlemen's Association. President Trump signaled this week he wants to import more beef from Argentina to lower the price of meat in the United States. Curtis says that would hurt American ranchers.
The announcements from this week would absolutely undermine Colorado's livestock industry, not to mention American livestock producers.
Kate Greenberg is the Colorado Commissioner of Agriculture.
We're already in agriculture operating in a tough environment, an uncertain environment. This adds even more uncertainty to the situation.
She says Colorado feels the impact even more than other states.
In Colorado, livestock, beef, that's our #1 economy in the ag sector. Beef is our #1 export across all sectors in Colorado's economy.
The president's comments have caused uncertainty throughout the country. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association called the plan misguided. Ethan Lane is the senior vice president of government relations.
Well, obviously, it's disheartening for ranchers across the country and in Colorado to hear the president talk about solving the problem of high demand for beef and high prices for beef at the grocery store. Mainly because this is the end result of years and decades of work by the U.S. cattle industry to build that quality and build that demand for our product.
So the U.S. already imports beef from places like Argentina because we need it to produce meat products like hamburgers, for example. But if the price of meat goes down, the Cattlemen's Association worries that ranchers won't find it profitable anymore, and the ranching industry, especially here in Colorado and around the country, could face some serious problems, Kyle.
Ranchers don't love Governor Polis, right? He once endorsed that meat out day people got all excited about, but he has talked about protecting the industry locally in a couple of ways.
In part because of how big of a portion of the Colorado economy is. For example, Colorado net exporter of meat exported $1.3 billion worth of beef in 2024, so last year. What the governor now wants is labels on meat. So if you get meat from Argentina, so that consumers can know, hey, I'm buying meat from Argentina, not supporting Colorado farmers, for example.
Very interesting. All right, Mark Salinger, thank you. If your employer doesn't pay you on time, they're a bum. Tough to say that about America, but most federal employees will miss their first full paycheck today after only getting a partial paycheck 2 weeks ago. And President Trump has said that he doesn't think that all government workers deserve back pay when the government shutdown ends. The Bipartisan Policy Center in D.C. estimates about 1.4 million federal employees are going without pay right now. About half are furloughed and the rest are at work, just not getting paid for it. Yesterday, the Senate rejected dueling partisan bills that would pay workers while the shutdown continues. Republicans proposed a bill to pay the employees who are at work but not those who are furloughed. Democrats tried to pass a bill paying all federal workers and blocking President Trump from using the shutdown as cover for mass firings. Colorado's Labor Department estimates there are more than 50,000 federal workers here. The unemployment office at the state level has set up a special team processing claims for the more than 1,500 federal workers who have filed unemployment claims during the shutdown. Right now, Colorado's scrambling to figure out how to help feed low-income families when the government shuts down SNAP food benefits next month, as long as the government's still shut down. The governor is asking people not to give to local food banks if they want to help, but to give to this umbrella organization instead. Our Spencer Soischer takes us inside the food chain, so to speak.
With the federal government shut down, the state announced this week it's putting SNAP benefits on hold for November.
We're here because the federal government is shut down.
To try to offset it, Governor Jared Polis asked the state's Joint Budget Committee to direct up to $10 million from the state's general fund go to Feeding Colorado. But that's a small dent compared to the $120 million that are normally allocated in SNAP each month.
You can also visit feedingcolorado.org.
The governor also encouraged people to donate to Feeding Colorado, which will eventually trickle down to smaller food banks. Here's how it works. Feeding America gets federal funding as well as donations and has access to buy food in bulk at lower costs.
So that $10 million, for instance, would likely buy the retail equivalent of $40 or $50 million worth of food.
Each state has their own network food bank, in this case, Feeding Colorado, which doesn't buy or sell any food, but does logistics and helps coordinate for 5 partner food banks. In the Denver area, that's Food Bank of the Rockies. Food Bank of the Rockies uses that Feeding America access to buy food at lower costs and gives some of it away or offers their discounted rate to smaller partner food pantries like Angelica Village in Lakewood.
We serve about 110 individuals a week with a food box of fruits and vegetables.
Marissa Cantrell knows there's not enough money to go around right now, but she says this attempted fix has flaws.
We are a Food Bank of the Rockies hunger relief partner, and we get about 25% of our food from Food Bank of the Rockies.
That other 75% comes from local farmers. And with SNAP expiring, she's expecting an influx of people and not enough money to account for it.
Just giving money to Feeding Colorado isn't going to necessarily get into the hands of SNAP recipients.
So having just $10 million to put towards something that normally costs about $120 million a month is probably impossible to solve. But another concern that was pointed out is the state of food insecurity in Colorado, with one Denver food bank telling me today they survived COVID, the migrant crisis, and then, Kyle, it just continues now.
One thing after another. I presume when people are lining up at a food bank, they're not saying like SNAP recipients in one line, everybody else in another line, and people could be coming in for all kinds of reasons right now.
Right, and this is hard to figure out how to structure this, but there's no real good way to target just to get to SNAP recipients. You may have federal workers who are laid off or someone else who's laid off that isn't a SNAP recipient that's going to a food bank.
Yeah, and for all the folks who have been reaching out to us asking how they can help, stay tuned. Word of thanks for the next month plus is going to focus on food insecurity and hunger in Colorado. Spencer Soischer, thank you. The Trump administration is cracking down on a group that is relocating to Colorado from Canada. Gray wolves. The feds are trying to stop Colorado Parks and Wildlife from bringing in more wolves from Canada to turn loose on the western slope. Our 9 News Investigates team got their hands on documents showing the CPW signed a $400,000 deal with British Columbia to round up as many as 15 more wolves early next year and bring them here. U.S. Fish and Wildlife is ordering the state to quit it. They say Colorado only has clearance to bring in American wolves, specifically wolves from a handful of states in the northern Rocky Mountain area. Problem is, we're going to Canada because several of those states, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, have already made it clear that their wolves, hands off, not for sale. The governor's office told us they're reviewing this federal order, and CPW, if you watch the program, you know CPW does not like to answer our questions about wolves. They declined to discuss this. The government shutdown has been creating uncertainty for a lot of military families in Colorado, folks who have done nothing wrong. They've just offered sacrifice to serve our country. We cannot fix the situation for them, but we can help. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports the Homefront Military Network. That nonprofit, based in Colorado, provides a safety net for veterans and their families across the state, offering emergency financial assistance paired with one-on-one help to determine whether those vets and their families need any kind of long-term assistance to get past the issue in their life. They'll often come in when problems stack up, like, say, a medical crisis, and then a car breakdown makes it tough to pay bills. Homefront Military Network helps those military families cover their rent, cover their utilities, put food on the table. but also focuses on connecting them with longer-term support if needed. Mental health counseling, caregiver support. They're there for the short and long term. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to get that link to join me and a bunch of others in donating. Their leaders recently told me that they're seeing more military families feeling stressed given the shutdown. They told me that people who are not usually struggling are really worried right now. So let's help our neighbors who serve. Between one-time and recurring donations, you have raised $40,000 since Wednesday. That is huge. More than 6,000 of you have signed up to make a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. Put in your info once each month. Your donation automatically is split among all the nonprofits we feature. You help everybody. Set it and forget it, as Ron Popeil used to say. It's added an additional $30,000 to our weekly campaigns. Your right to cut corners in the great outdoors is officially protected. A resolution to the legal battle of where you can step near public lands.
My good news is being able to be here on the last day of the A380.
A goodbye that is still good news. We end the week as we always do, setting aside the headlines and asking our neighbors about what makes them smile. That's next. Thousands of acres of Colorado's public lands will remain open to hunters and people doing outdoorsy stuff because the Supreme Court's declining to take up the issue of so-called corner crossing. This is a loss for ranchers and landowners who want to have people prosecuted for stepping over their land. Not on it, stepping over it. The legal question of so-called corner crossing has made it risky to access some public land in the West, especially rural areas where land is sometimes laid out in a grid system. When plots of public land fall diagonal from one another on the grid, hunters will sometimes step across the corner of private land to get from one public plot to another. That does not sit well with some landowners who see that as trespassing, even if the hunters step over their land without actually touching it. Earlier this year, a federal appeals court sided with hunters in Wyoming who are facing trespassing charges. And this week, the Supreme Court declined to take the case, meaning that corner crossing is legally protected in 6 states, including Colorado. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi is along now to talk Halloween. Chris, how should I say this? My outfit this year shows a bit of skin, and I need to know if I'm going to be chilly.
You're going to be all right, Kyle.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Well, listen, some things I like to leave to the imagination, you know?
All right. We'll take your feedback, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We'll take your feedback and your thoughts about what it might be. But in the meantime, yeah, that skin-revealing Halloween outfit this year will be A-OK. Mid-50s as the kiddos head out for trick-or-treating next Friday night. By the way, next Friday night, our last 6 p.m. sunset of the year. Next Saturday, our last 5 p.m. sunset of the year, as of course we push back those clocks next weekend. Right now, still seeing a little bit of snow for us here across our southern mountains, but that's coming to a close. And travel through the mountains A-OK this evening. A little patchy fog, eastern plains, otherwise no major things to worry about for tomorrow. Just kind of warm for us tomorrow. Low 70s, lots of sunshine out there for your Saturday. Beautiful weather for us with temperatures 60s, 70s, eastern plains, perfect for those pumpkin patches for tomorrow afternoon and even into tomorrow night should be A-OK as well. 7-day forecast. Our next system of note moves in Sunday night and Monday morning with some mountain snow. Brief cool down for us on Tuesday. We warm right back up again for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, just in time for that skin-revealing Halloween next Friday.
I feel like you talked about it a little bit more than I wanted it talked about. Colorado's 2 recognized tribes, Southern Ute and the Ute Mountain Ute tribes, say the state is unfairly cutting them out from millions of dollars in sports betting revenue. After a year-long legal fight on this, a federal judge is tossing the case. Colorado's voters approved sports betting, both casinos and online, in 2019. State taxes that stuff to pay for water infrastructure and conservation projects. The tribes want in on online sports betting, but they say that the requirement that they then pay state taxes on it is a violation of state and federal agreements that allow them to use gaming revenue for their own public services. But yesterday, a federal judge said that online bets don't fall under those same rules, especially when the bets are placed off the reservation. There's serious money at stake here. More than $6 billion in wagers were placed in the state last fiscal year, brought in about $37 million in tax revenue. So for years here on Next, we have recommended journalism and other work that is not ours, but we think is worth your time. We've been expanding on that recently by bringing you a multi-part project called Matter of Fact. They're short segments put together by a group of Coloradans who are passionate about good journalism and the First Amendment, which defends both facts and opinion, which are 2 different things.
important to tell the difference between news and opinion. So, how do you tell? Take a typical news site or a newspaper, for example. The front page is almost always news, a wide view of the facts, no commentary, no opinions. This thing happened and then this other thing happened. Simple, straightforward. On a legitimate news service, the opinion page is clearly labeled as a different section. This is where columnists live. If an opinion piece is mixed in with the news, it needs to be labeled as opinion or commentary. Yet, some people still get confused between the news and opinion sections of a news site. Be smart. Know the difference. The remedy: check out a variety of news outlets to get the full picture on any important issue. It's one of the fundamental cornerstones of having a free press. Everyone gets to share their opinion. Just know that when you read, listen, or watch an opinion, take it for what it is. And that's a matter of fact.
We will share more short episodes of A Matter of Fact each week through early November, when we will air a documentary and town hall discussion about Colorado's journalists at work. I hope you'll tune in for that. We'll remind you. You can learn more about the project at 9news.com/free press. You know we like to end each week on a high note, and tonight we are getting really high. Somebody's going to clip that for the internet, but whatever. It's next. For 9 years now, we have set aside time each Friday night to dispense with the news and to focus on something that is often more important: what is good in the lives of our neighbors. Tonight, it's a farewell that still brought smiles. The final day, the world's largest passenger plane flew to Denver from Germany.
My good news is being able to be here on the last day of the A380.
What's taking her so long?
My good news is that I am here to pick up my aunt. And we're also celebrating the 8-week recovery of an ACL replacement on Honey Bear.
My good news is my best friend is coming back from Mexico. My good news is finally seeing my sister after a long time.
My good news is that Kyle let me come to the airport to see the bid plane one last time today. Thanks, Kyle.
That side, and then it's going to be the next group. You have to give me $1 if I'm correct.
And now I get to be here to watch it land on its final day. And it's been amazing all summer to see people as it taxis out with their phones out, taking videos, taking pictures, and just to be here for that whole season has been great.
My good news is that we were able to be given the opportunity to come out here and help so many of our community members in need right now.
My good news is I'm flying to Florence, Italy for vacation.
Wir waren gerade 2 Wochen in Denver und dann in Moab zum Mountainbiken. Und ich war mit meinem Vater und es war eine super Zeit. Und jetzt freue ich mich dann wieder, dass ich nach Hause komme. Ja.
Something about mountain biking.
Yes.
Please see.
I missed you.
I'm mic'd up.
Feedback delivery tonight from Luke Radel from Syracuse University. Don't go anywhere. This young man and his team work on one of the best college news programs in America. And I say that even though I didn't go to Syracuse. I went to Ithaca. But congrats to him. Thank you. One of the best emerging young journalists in America. He's just getting started in his career. Feedback next. Feedback from Marianne and Bailey. Kyle, who folds your pocket square? Today's pocket square is a master tutorial. Thank you for taking the high ground in journalism and fashion. Marianne, please know the amount of care that we put into our journalism is the opposite of this thing. I just grab it and stuff it in.